Happy Christmas, everyone. This is part 2 of how to have a happy Christmas. And last time we talked about the importance of connection and how to make a connection and how to forget about yourself and serve, which are two wonderful, wonderful attitudes and tools to use to create a happy Christmas for yourself. I want to talk about another aspect of Christmas, which is that, and it's something that I personally went through, we tend to think of Christmas in this sort of fantasy way. What does the perfect Christmas look like? And we have this image in our mind of a joyful family scene, everyone laughing and loving each other and giving beautiful presents that everybody likes, and there's music playing and lots of light and beautiful decorations and this whole thing that we've seen on television and advertisements, and when we go to stores, there's this promotion of this perfect Christmas. And it's really hard to live up to that. It's important to see the reality of the fact that Christmas is a spiritual holiday. It's a time of renewing life, being forgiven for past mistakes. That's why the Messiah came into the world. And so if we think of that Christ consciousness, that Spirit of God manifested in our world, that's what the Christ consciousness is. If we think of that God being manifested in our own hearts, the birth of that consciousness being born in our hearts, that's the essence of Christmas. And all that fantasy of the perfect decorations and the perfect home and the perfect family and the perfect friends and parties and all of that, just set it aside. I had an interesting experience some years ago. I hadn't been on the path very long, and my mother was living alone at that point. My dad had passed away, and I was feeling as though I needed nurturing and I needed unconditional love. And so I had this in my mind as I went to visit my mother. And through a variety of circumstances, at one point I got locked out of the house. My mother was away and I got locked out. It was freezing cold weather. By the time she got back, I had started developing a cold, and so I got really sick, and then I had to fly out the next day, and so it was just a comedy of errors. That whole visit was anything but nurturing, anything but unconditionally loving. And I realized that I had this fantasy in my mind of what my mother would provide for me, this safe harbor of love and blessing. And my mother was a very, very good and spiritual woman and taught me many, many things and was far beyond that fantasy in some ways. But in other ways, I very quickly realized after that visit that fantasy and reality are different things. And she could never give me what the Divine Mother can give me. Only God can give us that. And the same with that fantasy of Christmas. Only God can fulfill that longing in our hearts for that perfect family. Who on earth has that? Maybe you do, and God bless you. You have fantastic karma, and God has a reason for giving you that perfect family. But for the most of us mere mortals, what we can do is create our own family. Create a family of, most of all, gurubais, people who are like-minded, people who want the same things in life, people who are seeking God. If we look to them and feel that spirit, then we have a wonderful, wonderful family on earth, the best family. Create your own with people who feel about life the way you do, who see it as an opportunity to grow and learn and expand your heart and love. Learning how to love is the purpose of life. And in that way, if you can feel that camaraderie with those who also love God, that will be the perfect family. And remember too that Yogananda said, quote, "Even God and the angels celebrate Christmas for the good of all humanity," end quote. So even if you spend Christmas all alone in your own home today, never mind. You can celebrate with God and the angels. You can have Him and all of the angels of heaven with you. If you put your consciousness here at the point between the eyebrows, and you put out that soul call calmly and with your heart expanded in love, and ask that you receive that blessing from God, then He will be with you. Visualize those angels surrounding you, blessing you, uplifting your spirit. Read Yogananda's works, read the Bible, read the Bhagavad Gita, and be one with that Spirit of Christ, the universal consciousness that pervades all of creation. You are never alone. As one of the beautiful songs that Swami wrote for his oratorio, "Christ lives in the Holy Land and in you." One of the songs is, "He who clothes the field with lilies." And the song goes on, "Know that you live not alone." So keep Him in your heart. There's no way you can be alone because He lives in you.